Okay. Hello, Jane.
Hi. Basically, yes, this is another retrospective submission on the Local Government Act Amendment Bill number 3, and was also emailed to you for your consideration. But yes, are there any further questions?
Item number 15. Okay. Have a mover for that. Mover Councillor Stewart, seconded by Councillor Johns. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. All those against, carried. Item number 16.
Thank you.
Sue, how do you do?
Your Worship, Councillors. This is not a retrospective submission, for a change. Most of you will remember that we had that there was a proposal by a group called the Better Hawke's Bay that they lodged with the Local Government Commission back in, I think it was February last year. Yes, it was a year ago. Essentially proposing to reorganise local government in Hawke's Bay. 2 small areas of our district are within the Hawke's Bay Regional Council area, and so we're potentially affected by that proposal. We submitted at the time, back in April 2013, and since then the Local Government Commission's draft proposal for the reorganisation of Hawke's Bay has come out. It came out in late November, and the submissions to that close on the 7th of March. So this item proposes a submission to that draft proposal, and essentially it's a submission in support of retaining those 2 areas within the Taupo District for 2 main reasons. Essentially that landowners associate with Taupo rather than Napier, and that some of the large blocks in this area are owned by Māori trusts, and that these trusts are obviously associated with Ngāti Tūwharetoa, and that land should be within the local government boundary associated with that rohe. It's important to note that the submission only relates to those 2 parts of the proposal by the Local Government Commission, and not to reorganisation within the Hawke's Bay region. We've chosen not to comment on that because we don't think that's our business. We've also seen a submission that the Bay of Plenty Regional Council, I think, went through their council yesterday, the day before, and they have identified that there are, they believe, some concerns with the transfer of the regional governance for those particular 2 areas of the Taupo District going to the Bay of Plenty region and then being transferred back to the Hawke's Bay Regional Council. They're concerned about the logistics of how that will happen. We're not so concerned with that, as you'll see in our submission. We've said that we believe they can be dealt with by the transitional body, because there is a process set up where that transitional body works through those sorts of things. And so you'll see the submission is on page 16/13.
Okay. Any questions on this one? Councillor Johns.
Just one small question, thanks, Sue, that comes down to the consultation. Reading the papers that went with this agenda item, it would be fair to say we didn't get a lot of personal contact with those landowners.
Personal contact, we didn't. I tried to ring as many as I could back in April last year, and I did get some feedback from some of them. Most of them didn't know anything about it, so they didn't want to comment at that stage. So we then sent out a series of letters to inform people of what was going on, but had pretty much no feedback.
And what about Turangi-Tongariro in terms of, have we had any actual discussion
we haven't had any,
with them? We don't quite know what their views are.
No, we haven't had any feedback. We've contacted them by letter, but we haven't had anything come back.
So the assumption, we've made some assumptions on.
We have made some assumptions.
Thank you.
I guess my concern here is I don't want to put the slant on here that we're supporting the amalgamation or we support the proposal. We're just supporting one little part that retains.
Yep, we're supporting the part that affects us, yes.
I'm just wondering, Sue, if I could adjust the resolution where you say that Council endorses the submission to be lodged to the Local Government Commission on their draft proposal reorganisation regarding the Taupo. I haven't got quite the clever words for it, but
We could
regarding
say
the Taupo,
the area of land
I don't
within
want the Napier Mayor, thinking that we're saying they should amalgamate or not. It's just that if they do, we want to retain our stakeholders.
So regarding the land
within the Taupo District, yeah.
Yeah. And is everyone happy with that?
I
don't
think
think
that
we're
sends a
quite-
clear signal from what we're commenting.
Yeah. So, is anyone happy?
Well, Your Worship, does not the Commission's document sent out actually support the contention that we've got? If I read it correctly, when it states, in regards to us, about the community of interest arguments that are in our boundary, have they indicated any changes on that?
No. So they have.
This happened, Your Worship, some time ago in Taranaki. Certainly where those people went to shops from buy things never changed. The difficulty those people had at Wongamongama was that monies they were paying to rating was going to an area they didn't use, and that was quite important. In fact, every year they form a republic, and they elect a mayor, and one year they put a goat up and the goat won.
So what's different?
I guess in terms of the substantive question, you're right. The Commission has come out and it's favourable, so hence our submission is in support. But we do believe we still need to support it because, again, if you're not in the game, you're not in the game. But also with this Bay of Freedom Regional Council submission, the Commission are going to have to relook at it, and we want to make sure that our points are still in the game.
Cool. Okay. Thank you, Susie. Suggested resolution.
I'll move that suggested resolution with those added words.
Yep, added words. Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Cousins. Thank you. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
It's carried. Item number 17. Try and get this. There's just information on the bus survey information. Gemma and Flash, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Can we start with a little apology? Due to a formatting error, the resolution says, and that the business development plan will be thanked. We don't expect it. We're quite happy just to be here.
Okay, well, everybody's had a good opportunity probably to read this item. I suppose, Gemma, do you just want to go to the flashpoints of it? No, then let's go to the main points.
Yeah, so I guess if you just want to jump straight into the statistics side of things, we did a survey of 500 people from about the 23rd of December through the 31st of January, and asked over 1,300 people to participate in the survey over the course of that time frame. We did it based on all the weather that was around at the time, so it covered rainy days as well, as many as there were over January, which wasn't that many obviously, but that was there. And just sort of looking at figure 2 is probably the easiest thing to start with. Of the people who responded in terms of rating the facilities, 89% was the lowest level of response that said average, very good or great in terms of the response categories for the facilities, and that was in relation to the ease of parking. It was actually one of the results that had the least number of respondents, because what we found, or what the surveyors found during the process, was that most of the people that would partake in the survey were those who were on their lunch break or transiting through, because if you're getting off the bus, basically you're at your destination, you want to get to where you're going after that. So that was quite an interesting little bit of anecdotal stuff. It's not, I can't tell you exactly what that is, but it was quite interesting just to see the overall outcomes were actually relatively high in terms of bus users being happy with the facilities that were there. But, I'm happy to take questions, and probably which is more relevant in terms of where you'd like to see things at.
Okay, any questions? Queries?
I just had a couple of questions. I personally found it a bit difficult to read because it's all in black and white. So
right.
sorry.
No, I can circulate the presentation like colour.
Oh, you're special.
Oh,
I'm on the budget side.
should be. Mine's only I got the budget version.
You can have.
Yeah, I guess the question I
50 shades of grey.
I can arrange for colour copies. So who's got the black and white? And
I've got black and white.
Don't waste any more paper.
I can circulate an
email.
Hopefully the figures are still readable in terms of.
I guess the question I had, Gemma, was what are we proposing to do with this information? Because if we were going to release it publicly, for example, I think there is some drilling down of that data that we need to ask some other salient questions, which I found a bit difficult to work out because it was in black and white. Like a question that you would then ask is, of those who have used the service before, how many are happy? And then there's other questions you need to be asking, like what do they expect from transport facilities, because you're measuring expectations on. So there are some things here, but they will lead to other questions. So I need to ask what you're going to do with the information after this, and will we do any further analysis of it?
I think it's possibly up to us now. You know, we're just going to receive the information now, and not debate it, or it's more just receiving the information, and then as we go forward, we will need to discuss it again. But unless you guys are up.
The way the model is it's just this is what's come out of what we've surveyed, and it's based on people that we've surveyed rather than anything further than that, and we haven't made any assumptions or any decisions out of that. It's just here's the data, and so as requested we wanted it, so we can survey.
Wish I would move with your direction that we just received the information.
Cool, thank you. Do I have a seconder for that, please? Yeah. Seconded Councillor Williamson. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried. Thanks, Gemma, and thanks, Flash. Item number 18. So this is discussing the
It's a by-election, is it?
it's pretty straightforward, isn't it? I think we're all-
Approving the unbudgeted expenditure is the key.
Yep, it just seems a hell of a lot for one by-election. I can understand that. But as you've received the information, is that we can't do much. Councillor Cousins.
We asked though for a breakdown. Yes. Did you get one? I didn't see it.
Yep.
All the postage and
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Emailed.
Yes, it was.
It
was given out. Was it?
No, it was given out.
I think
was
Councillor
given out.
Cousins might have been still in Turangi.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I've got it on my desk. Tina, just
There's two parts to this. One is in relation to deciding on how you'd like the voting documents arranged. So you've got three options, alphabetical, pseudo, random and random. The last election the council voted on random, and the recommendation there follows that same option. And then the second part is the approval of the unbudgeted expenditure for the by-election.
Can I ask Mr. Jakes that if we accept any of those options for this particular by-election, does that carry through to the next election?
No.
Therefore, I won't vote for option one.
because your surname begins with B. I will. I'm happy to move the suggested resolution. No, any other comments?
Well, do we not have to? Are we going to move it as part of those two that it stays as it is, that random naming and all that drama?
Yeah. Yeah. Suggested resolution number 1. Okay. That it stays as random. That means the Z's and T's get a chance in life.
They get all mixed up on every voting form.
Yeah. Oh, they just get, so it doesn't matter.
So pseudo-random is mixed up, but the same on all the voting forms, and
and random is random on every form.
Stops those people ticking every second box.
Yeah, good idea. Okay. All right. Do I have a mover? Councillor Jollins, seconded by Councillor Harvey. Thank you. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried.